Good afternoon, my lovelies. Welcome to the Coffee Run Live, episode number 416. Holy Toledo, Batman, that is completely insane. It's really funny. I've had quite a number of people pop back in of late, of people that have either been following me for a while, but then took a bit of a siesta from me, and then they've kind of come back in, and it's really interesting, this whole concept of time, don't you think? Hello, Catherine. It's really curious. So I was chatting to some people yesterday, actually, it might have been yesterday morning, about how, obviously we've got the importance of consistency and the importance of showing up, but how what seems to happen is like we've got this group of people that will come and watch all of your things and listen to everything and interact and engage, and then they kind of like slip away, and then there's this new batch of people that kind of come in, and then they start commenting, and then it's like somehow the ye olde Facebook algorithm does these strange things that it does in terms of like bringing old people in and bringing, like, reminding that you've got new people and all of this kind of thing. I find it really fascinating that so many people end up kind of like coming in and then out and then in and then out and things like that. So really, really fascinating. And the message there is to make sure that you're being consistent. Show up every day, because every day there's going to be new people that are exposed to you. And hey, Kristen, welcome to, what is it, Thursday evening. Welcome to Thursday evening over there in Florida. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is, what advice would you be giving your younger self? So what made me think about this, I wrote a blog earlier today about what was really interesting and really insightful for me going back a number of years ago. So you may or may not know, my business used to be $1 million a year business. I had a big team. So I had a big team of people, and I had a lot of responsibility, obviously, to pay them, right? I was responsible for managing the fact that, or paying these people to manage their basically their financial households, like they were my employees. And when I ran the numbers, I was actually asked at one point, what's the profitability? And I was like, I don't know, my expenses aren't too bad. I must be sitting at somewhere around 50%. Which sounds really great. But in actual fact, what I looked at, so this is going back circa anywhere like from 2013 right through till pretty much 2017. When I looked at my actual numbers and I worked out how much I was making in terms of revenue what my expenses were, and how hard I was freaking working, it was just, it was a lot. It was a lot of responsibility. It was a lot of pressure. I loved the people I was working with, but I wasn't really doing, how like we evolve and change over time. I was wanting to kind of like evolve and change the way that I was working with people and how I was bringing them in, but I was really scared that everything was going to fall over. I was really scared that I wasn't going to be able to keep going and things like that. So all of these people who were relying on me, that I wasn't going to be able to pay them. And that was really shit as well. And the really big clincher for me was I sat down, and when I did my numbers, I'm like, holy shit. I didn't have much money left over at the end of all of the money I was bringing in. I didn't have huge amounts left over at the end of every month. And I was like, man, for what I'm bringing in, I could easily go and work in corporate with less stress, less pressure, and probably make the same money. So, is this really the way of doing things? But I held off for a really long time on making the decision. And I guess this is where, like, the advice that you might give to your younger self, like if you're the you now, right? And you look at the you 3 years ago, 5 years ago, or if you imagine yourself 5 years in the future coming to the you right now, what advice would you be giving yourself? What would you be saying to yourself? And when I was thinking about this, I'm like, the thing that I would be saying, and I'm incredibly grateful for all of my experience. I'm really grateful for the really shitty times. I'm really grateful for the really amazing times, because it has really made me who I am today. It's made me, my sense of certainty around who I am, what I do, who I serve, and how I help these days is unwavering. And I didn't have that same sense of certainty. I had confidence back then, but confidence and certainty are two different things, right? So I didn't have that same sense of certainty. So I was thinking, all right, well, what would I go back and say to the, 5 years ago version of me? And I thought, right, the thing that I would say is that, you can make the changes that you want to make, that, yep, there might be a rough patch, but you know what, you'll keep coming back, you'll be okay. Kristen, don't make bad decisions, but you're right, they mold you. Yeah, the advice that I would give would be to make the decisions faster. Make your choices faster, and that we always come through. We always come through some way, somehow with the goods, right? Now, just because, and I like to think about, like these different movies that we've seen where, you can go back in time, or like the butterfly effect. One choice and one decision leads you into the next set of choices and decisions. It's like those kids' books that we used to, or like I used to read. I won't say that you used to read them, but the books that were the choose your own adventure books, and you get to page 9 and you get to fast forward to page 15 or go back to page 5, depending on what choices you made. But ultimately you end up in the same position, I think. The lessons, like I look back and I think, and I remember having a little bit of presence of mind when some of the really shit times happened. It was like, there's a reason that I'm going through this, and man, I hope this experience is going to be beneficial and is going to help somebody else. Because, for me, it was just like, man, I was really grateful that I was in the position with the support that I had, the people I had around me, the money that I had, the resources I had, the experience that I had to be able to make it through, right? I mean, you guys have all been through experiences, and they certainly mold you. I had a conversation with a gorgeous lady earlier today, and we were talking about failure, a perceived failure. Now, this is a woman who I worked with in 2014, 2015, and she's gone off and done a bunch of things, and she reappeared in my world a couple of months ago. And, she's just, there's just some people that just spark you full of joy. This is one of those humans. She's really amazing. And we were talking about the journey that she's taken over the past few years, and I haven't seen her for probably 5 years in person, maybe 4 years in person. And she said, I've got to go out and talk to my audience, but I've been AWOL for a while. And so, well, just go tell them. Go tell them about what's been going on. And I think what's really interesting is that we make up these stories in our heads. And this is some of the advice I'd give to my younger self, right? To put it into context. Sometimes we think that we've got to put on the brave, perfect face, that, yeah, this is what happened, but what, blah, blah. When really what people are looking to hear is that, you're human. So one of the fears that people will often have is that when things haven't quite worked out the way that we want them to, we imagine that we've failed, or we get worried that other people are going to think that we have failed, right? The truth of the matter is like failure is only failure if you actually stop, and if it stops you in your tracks and you go, fuck this, I'm done, I'm out of here, and you allow it to be failure, or if you make it failure. Sometimes it can be a really freaking smart decision to close something, to stop doing something if it is no longer serving you, and if it is no longer serving them, and it is no longer good for the greater good. Dude, that's not failure, that's a smart fucking decision to, shut up shop or go and do something else, to make a new choice. But I guess like one of the things that I said to her, I said, so like, you guys know some of my story where we've been threatened with lawsuits and, unfounded, and, they ended up falling by the wayside because I had no substance. But I said, did you think that I had failed? Was it your perception that I had failed because I changed direction a little bit? Did you think that I failed because we had some crazy people make some crazy choices and decisions? And she said, no, like I just thought that this is stuff that everybody goes through. So it really normalized it for her. And I said, well, your people are going to look at it the same way. So I know a lot of you Hi, Ainsley. I know a lot of you perhaps haven't been in contact with your audiences for a while, or maybe you're just getting started on building up some of that momentum, or maybe you've got people in an email list and you haven't emailed them for a while. Go out there and talk to them. You know, the best piece of advice that I can give you is go write them a love letter, right? Write a letter to them that says, hey, you know what? I've been missing for a while. And part of the reason that I've been missing is I had to do some soul searching. You know, I had to work out what I wanted, what my priorities were. I had to do this, that, and the other for my kids. You know, I took a hiatus for a while because I literally had to save my kid's life. You know, there's a whole bunch of reasons why we might go AWOL. And I think that if you're out there making it look like you're trying to make an excuse or a reason or tell not that you don't have to tell all of the details, but if you're not sharing the whole story, then you know people don't get it. Like, they can't empathize with you, they can't understand where you're coming from. So, you know, the advice that I gave to her was, you know, and anybody actually that's been in this position, and I know there's quite a few of you who I've spoken to personally who I've told to do this. You know, go out to your people and just say, hey, you know what, I've got to admit, I dropped the ball. You know, I had to go and try this stuff. I had to go and experiment. I had to go and learn. I had to take a break. I had to, you know, hit pause for a minute, for a hot minute. But you know what, I'm back and I'm really freaking excited. And I'm so passionate now about, you know, what I'm able to do. I've done that thinking. This was demonstrated really beautifully. You guys know I love The Voice, right? Really love The Voice. I don't like some of the antics on The Voice, but I really love The Voice. And the guy, Jesse, came back on as an all-star with the auditions this week. And one of the things that I really enjoyed watching was the heart that he came back with. I really enjoyed watching the interaction with people, and he talked about taking some time out, about reassessing what it was that he wanted, and then, you know, having to do some soul searching to see whether or not he was even going to come back on and audition and try again. You know, failure, if you think about it, would be to let the critic in your head fucking win, right? And not showing back up. But, you know, I look at these people, particularly like the Voice is a really great example, because you've got people who have come before, they've auditioned before, and they've either made it through partway through a season or they haven't made it through, and they go off and they do the thing and then they show back up. Now, I don't think any of us would look at somebody who came back up and said, oh, well, they failed last year. Like, they haven't got a hope in hell. Like, why the fuck did they come back? We're there. Like, when we know, for me personally, I know that particularly if it's somebody who's auditioned, I'm like, they were amazing and I'm so sad they didn't make it through. I'm like, you know what? I'm so fucking proud of you, even though I don't know them. I'm so proud of you and I'm so happy for you that you found another way, or you found another element, or you unleashed another layer to come back in. So I think, you know, I think about this advice that I would give the younger me. It would be to fail faster. It would be to try things faster and not wait and not hold on and don't make choices from a place of fear and worry, certainly about what other people think, but, you know, that everything is always working out. Now, it doesn't mean that, you know, we've got an Australian one, Kristen. We've got an Aussie. We have Boy George as one of our hosts, and Kelly Rowlands, the very fabulous Kelly Rowlands, as one of our hosts, as well as a couple of Aussie coaches. I do love the American Voice as well, though, I have to say, like Gwen Stefani. Oh, love her. But I think, you know, the thing for you to consider is nothing is really as bad or as big when you look at something retrospectively, right? So the big decision that you might need to make today, fast forward to 2 years and be like, okay, so what advice would I be giving myself? Would I be saying the same things? Would I be doing the same things? Would I be, you know, what choices and decisions would I make? What would I be telling myself to do? And is this issue, and this is often what happens, like, is this issue that I'm dealing with today, is it actually as big as what I think it is, or am I making a mountain out of a molehill? Is it going to bother me really in 6 months' time? You know, is it, if I keep doing this for another 6 months or 2 years, is it going to freaking kill me? And if you can come at it from that perspective, then you can make faster course corrections. You can make adjustments faster. You can fail faster. You can learn faster. You become successful faster. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I know, Kristen, we are so lucky. We've got the very, very fabulous Kelly Rollins. Love her to pieces. I don't know her, but I feel like I love her. So anyway, that is all of that. Now, in light of all of that, what advice next week are you going to be giving yourself when you find out that Contentology is closed and you find that Rebel with Soul is closed? So I have put a comment in the chat today with some information about Contentology, Rebel with Soul, and the 30-day challenge. Now, just the thing that I think that has been really made apparent actually with these people that have come back into my awareness and into my life over the last little bit has been the thing that I've always done, and the thing that I always encourage all of you to do is to make sure that you're being consistent. And that means showing up, right? It means creating some of that almost like skeleton content so that no matter what is going on, if you're having a bit of a day, you've got things that can be going out and still inspiring, motivating, helping, teaching, educating your audience. The other really important thing is that you're not only putting content out that is about educating your people, right? Or training your people, or selling actually, either for that matter. So Contentology is all about helping you build up that muscle of getting more stuff out there and helping people to see the multifacets of you. It still shocks and amazes me when people are like, oh, so how was your workout this morning? Or like, we love seeing the photos of you and your husband. I'm like, wow, okay, I think he's pretty cute too, but you know, this is kind of funny. Rebel with Soul is also starting on Monday, the Content Academy, and that is all about you learning how to leverage and make money from the content that you're creating, as well as creating not only content marketing, but authority marketing. So there's that link in there. And if you're just like, I don't need any more training, I just need some, damn accountability, and I need you to kick my ass so that I can get stuff done, then the 30-day challenge is certainly up your alley. So if you've got any questions about any of those, message me, you can email me, I'll answer anything that I possibly can for you. I just really love to be able to help you get more people seeing you so that you can see more people, so that you can help more people, so that you can be that ripple and do more of what you do in the world. So that would be amazing. Meanwhile, what I need you to do is get out there, go help some people, have a whole ton of fun doing it. And guys, remember, the world is ready for your brand of awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me. Happy Friday. For those of you in the US, happy Friday in not very many hours. I will see you all on Monday if I don't see you before. I can't wait to see your names popping into my inbox, telling me that you're registered for Contentology or our Rebel with Soul Content Academy. Really, really excited to talk to you. All right, my friends, have fun, and I will speak with you soon.